Oh, straight into the roof of the net. Nice one. Straight down the middle. So a good performance.
Hello and welcome to Firstpost. I'm Rupha Ramani. Let's get started. On the show, a lot of cricket from the T20 World Cup, an emotional win for the Indian cricket team and more so the fans. Skipper Rohit Sharma scripts a very Bollywood-esque knock of the tournament to lead the charge and beat Australia. The Indian fans have turned this into a bit of a movie's plot. What is it about cricket that cannot escape the Bollywood fan, and how has India reacted to this revenge win? And if India pushed open the door to the Australian exit, Afghanistan shoved them right out. The team stormed into their first World Cup semi-final. We look at the dramatic turn of events in the match, how netizens reacted to every moment there, and who's behind the Afghan triumph. Stay on to watch an exclusive celebrations from within the team. And of course, there's a special interview that's lined up today to set up England's group game, the last of their group games at the Euros. Can they bring this one home though? Answers in the show, but first a look at the headlines over at Sports 360. Starting with cricket, Pakistan skipper Babar Azam has filed a defamation notice against a journalist. This after the journalist implied that Babar was involved in match fixing at the T20 World Cup. Babar has been accused of receiving expensive gifts for underperforming in the tournament. The defamation suit asks the journalist to apologize within 14 days. Over in football and the Copa America, 4th-ranked Brazil and 52nd-ranked Costa Rica's Group D match ended in a goalless draw. Brazil dominated possession but failed to score a goal. Brazil are one of the favourites to lift the title alongside defending champions Argentina. The AIFF, the Indian Football Federation, has hit back at the now-sacked coach Igor Stimac, saying Stimac is maligning the sport. The former coach had earlier criticized the Indian football president Kalyan Chobe, calling for the president's departure and saying that that will benefit the sport in the country and that the game is being imprisoned by these officials. Over in tennis, Gaël Monfils won his opening round at the Mallorca Championships. He entered the match with a 6-match losing streak against Dominic Thiem. Monfils defeated Thiem 6-3, 7-6. And in Olympics, the Indian Olympic Association, or the IOA, has doubled the daily allowance for those accompanying athletes to the games. Every executive council member will get $300 for each of the 5 days that they are there. This in contrast to the $150 that they had received during the Tokyo Olympics. On the other hand, athletes will still get paid $50 per day. For once, you had to let the pictures do all the talking, at least for the start. The raw emotions there, the general vibe, all the celebrations right after that match spoke volumes of what we all witnessed earlier today. We spoke of cricket coming into its own in the Caribbean, a country that has given birth to many glorious cricketing heroes and achievements, being the perfect destination for sport to reignite dreams, and it did not disappoint. Afghanistan, that took its first steps in ICC World Cups only as late as 2015, has made it to its first ever World Cup semi-final. At the turn of a decade, just about, since their debut, that is just astounding. And it is one of the best things to happen to cricket itself. Australia has been sent packing, and Afghanistan instead sets up its date with destiny against South Africa for a place in the World Cup final. Now, I love a good come-from-behind story, a coming-of-age narrative. I mean, who doesn't? And this one was near perfect. Edge of the seat, dramatic thriller till the very end. A superb finish to the Super 8s of the World Cup. Now, there was plenty of drama right through the game, and I just have to highlight some of those right away. The surface was challenging, but Rahmanullah Gurbaz for Afghanistan The opener at the top set the tone. At one stage though, after the middle order collapse, Rashid Khan at the crease wanted to get as many runs as he could, and at one stage even threw his bat in anger towards his partner at the other end, who refused to take a second run that would give Rashid Khan the strike for a couple of more deliveries. That's how badly he wanted to win. That's how bad every moment was. There was a sense of desperation every single moment of the game. And with a target of 116, Bangladesh would have fancied their chances of even knocking out Australia and making it to the semi-final themselves. For that, they had to get to that target in the 13th over itself. The conditions were not easy, as I've said, and rains kept disrupting play right through. But both sides were in with a chance at every given chance and every given moment, especially with Liton Das still there keeping Bangladesh's hopes alive. There were a few moments that became massive talking points from the match. First up, Bangladesh was inching towards the target, just 30-odd runs with a little more than 2 overs left to get them in to qualify for the semi-finals. And yet they did not go for the big shots. They did not try to force the result that would have got them to the top 4. They decided to take it slow. Now, it's fine to want to secure a win instead of going for glory, but this was a shot at being in the semi-finals of a World Cup. They don't come lightly. To me, that came off as a negative mindset. That only meant that you were defensive in your head, that you were okay with not making it to a World Cup semi-final, but you'd rather your opponent not get the chance either. More importantly, you're sending exactly this very message to your opposition, who needs just a win to make it. That's it. Rashid Khan and Afghanistan were in it. They were fighting. They knew this mindset. They knew what they were getting into, and they were pouncing on any given shot, cutting off every run they could. Their bowlers were keeping it tight, going for the kill. The other talking point, of course, came towards the end, when things were getting a little tantalizingly close for comfort and bringing it to an edge of the seat thriller. The rains, of course, kept coming in at regular intervals, and with that, the DLS kept coming into play, adding more drama to this whole occasion. At one point, Bangladesh were trailing by the DLS revised target by 2 runs. So Jonathan Trott, the Afghanistan head coach, shouted across to his boys to slow it down, as it had just started to rain once more. Seeing that, Gulbuddin Naib, of course, had slipped, caught his hamstring and pretended he was in pain. No one was amused, and as the teams walked off because it started raining, and Bangladesh's Liton Das also imitated Naib limping away, he of course smiled it off right then, because the rains had not stopped the game. But I'm sure if it had, Bangladesh wouldn't have been smiling. Maybe Gulbuddin Naib misunderstood what Trott was saying. Instead of slow down, he probably thought go down, and he promptly lay down on the ground. Netizens and experts alike were quick to take to social media on this, and memes were viral all round. Because R. Ashwin also coming in with the tweet of the day, where he says, give the red card to Gulbuddin already. But yes, the rain became a bit of a third player in this entire day. Too many stop and start occasions that both the teams had to endure, particularly in the second innings. And that would have been a little frustrating for both these sides, but it was that kind of a game. You had to hold your nerves. You had to be there despite all the interruptions to hold on to any given chance that you possibly had to make it, because both of them were in it to fight right till the end. Afghanistan bowlers held their nerve right through. I cannot pick one on the day. Rashid Khan gave the breakthrough with 2 back-to-back strikes, just as the going was getting a little easy for Liton. Noor kept it tight. The younger bowler, in fact, was very, very good at one end. Naib broke a partnership. Yes, he came back after that fake hamstring pull there and broke a key partnership. Now, I say partnership here because in a chase like this, it is one who just stands there in support to the key man, in this case Liton Das, who matters a lot. Because you're then suddenly staring at a tail that Naveen ul Haq cleaned right up. Even then, all Liton Das had to do was stay and get some strike. But Afghanistan held on to that thread of hope to take their team across the line for the most memorable win in their entire history. The stadium erupted, everyone ran onto the field, the crowd was in splits, Afghan supporters in the stands calling people back home and dancing. This win clearly meant a lot to this country. Those are exclusive pictures, right? A few hours after the win, with the team heading back to the hotel, they're of course living in the moment, exactly what one of their mentors, DJ Bravo, always says. You've got to celebrate the moments, the big wins, or even the smaller moments of your career in this sport, because they don't come that easy. But the pillars of this victory, the pillars of this campaign so far, now I have to start with Jonathan Trott here, a man who the team clearly rallies around, someone who himself took a break from cricket, gave it all up because he could not keep up with the mental strain of the sport. For someone like him to come on board and take charge of a relatively young side in international cricket means something. Even if you saw those pictures of him being carried on the shoulders after the game, you know how much his contribution means to this young side. This team is giving him so much more than what his entire career as an England cricketer did. Rashid Khan, next up, has been an inspirational leader. He still did not admit that Gulbuddin Naib probably faked that hamstring injury. Not that good to go about the way, not the way you want to go about things right there. But that aside, he's been instrumental in this team's success. He's a key aspect, a key man in that dressing room. They listen to him. They look to him for all advice and to move ahead. Then, of course, DJ Bravo, who was seen patrolling the ropes as he watched his players, nervous as he could be, trying to defend a very small total. Not that much in hindsight, though. He's another key man to this country's cricket campaign. There is belief with this team and this group of players. A dark horse in this tournament. They started out as that, but now they're one of the contenders and one who cannot be taken lightly. Here's what I think is one huge aspect that will be the cornerstone of their campaign here, that they will take forward to that knockout game, and that's been their evolution as a cricket team, a proper, potent cricket side. From starting off their cricket journeys as a country with bits and pieces players who could bat and bowl a bit, to batters who could tonk. They are now a well-rounded team who is learning to hold their ground. They're not buckling under pressure. Nothing is too overawing. They just defended 100 odd runs. Sure, it was against Bangladesh, but such a win is sure to give a kind of confidence and momentum that can really transform any key moment. And it's a semi-final. So that's there. 4 semi-finalists all decided. It's down to the last 3 matches to decide who the winner would be for this T20 World Cup 2024. India is emotional about cricket. They love the sport and the passion runs deep. And like how Bollywood captures the true essence of the Indian life story, so does cricket. There is drama and theatrics and poetic justice everywhere you look. If it isn't present in the movie narratives, then it is in the cricket. And India beating Australia at the T20 World Cup was one such moment. It brought out the emotional cricket fan in everyone. When it comes to passion, we somehow look at the Pakistani cricket fan, the ones who are ready to whip up memes and attack their team. With India, it is today about the drum beating and celebrations of an emotional moment. And that day on November 19, 2023, last year, it was not just the Indian cricket team who went home disheartened, dejected. Millions of fans drowned their sorrows that night for many nights to come. After their team, the Indian cricket team, lost to Australia in the ODI World Cup final. after remaining unbeaten through the rest of the tournament. So this match that could potentially throw Australia 1 foot out of the door of the World Cup was not just a face-off, it was a revenge game. The age-old Bollywood script where the villain comes face to face with a beaten-down hero once more. And at stake, of course, is redemption. A chance to somehow erase a very disturbing, troublesome past memory. And the stage was set. India in top form coming ahead and face to face with one of the top contenders at this World Cup. And Rohit Sharma, the captain under fire, for averaging barely 25 in the tournament, was taking centre stage. Now, he may have started the knock slow, but Rohit's blistering performance set the tone and somehow defined the match. It somehow took the wind out of the attack, and the Australian defiance wilted under Rohit Sharma's onslaught. When India were 51 for 1, Rohit alone had contributed 50 of those runs. He brought the fastest 50 of this World Cup in just 19 balls. He scored 92 eventually of 41 deliveries.
50s and 100s don't matter to me. I have been talking about this for a long time now. It's about going there and putting that to work. Need to put the bowlers under pressure, and you need big scores for that. I tried to access all sides of the field, not just one side.
Despite a 50 by the man who nailed the coffin on November 19th in that World Cup final, Travis Head, Australia, in their response, were always behind. India were always ahead in the match. No reverse hits or swashbuckling strikes by any of the Aussie batters really dented India's attack. And after the win, of course, social media erupted. It almost felt like India had exacted the revenge of more than 1 billion people. That's how you would feel once you look at some of these. It's true, Indian fans never forget. The Indian Premier League watchers may cheer an Australian on. That's when borders are forgotten and loyalty for clubs takes over. But when it comes to a World Cup, the Indian cricket fan remembers. They remember every win and every loss with just as an animosity and wait for the revenge. For the Indian fan, Travis Head was the most wanted, and they celebrated India's best bowler sending him back. And just the fact that Captain Rohit Sharma took that catch meant justice was delivered. Poetic justice had prevailed. The movie had a just, perfect ending. Because how apt that the main hero of this film was Captain Rohit Sharma, someone who comes from the Indian city of Mumbai, the city of dreams, the birthplace of Bollywood. And it rings true for others too, who know a little bit about Mumbai, formerly Bombay, and Bollywood. Rashid Khan, the Afghanistan captain, posted a picture just a while back on his social media platform of him and Rohit Sharma, indicating both teams being in the semi-final of the World Cup, and the caption was a famous Bollywood number, which has the city Bombay in it. But I want to take a moment to talk about Rohit Sharma here, the man who really never gives up, the one Indian cricketers all rally around, the man who famously, ahead of the 2023 World Cup, said casually it would be nice to win a World Cup. Now, thanks to this knock, India managed to send Australia packing and have set up a clash against England for a spot in the final. And if you thought we are done with the Bollywood narrative, the revenge story at the World Cups is over, I would have to correct you. India takes on England, and this is the same side that had knocked out India in the 2022 T20 World Cup. It was another semi-final. And not just that, there was also the World Cup 2019 ODI semi-final, and you can't forget that Dhoni dismissal. It's all very poignant, and as you know, the Indian fan will not forget. So the Bollywood revenge saga isn't done, not over yet for the Indian fan, and England is next up. The England football team is also under pressure over at the Euros. They are set to play their last group game later today against Slovenia. And though they still sit on top of the table, they have not exactly set the tournament ablaze. Can England bring it home this time at least, is what everyone keeps saying. I caught up earlier with former England player Michael Owen, who spoke about why England is a team under pressure, what are the reasons for why they are going about it the wrong way. He spoke also of Kylian Mbappe and France, what's the puzzle there, and gives us his verdict on Portugal's dilemma regarding Cristiano Ronaldo. Take a look. It's a very special episode here on Firstpost because we joined in from someone who all the way over from United Kingdom, England. And as we know, the Euros is underway, and someone to shed more light on all that's happening, and particularly with one side. He's someone who's been under pressure himself. He's seen all the different levels of international football. Michael Owen, former footballer, and of course someone who's here to give his expert thoughts on Sony Live, which is broadcasting Euros. Thanks for joining us, Michael. A pleasure to speak to you here.
Yeah, thank you very much. It's great to be here. I hope everybody's enjoying the Euro so far.
There have been some amazing results already. In fact, that was my first question. A few upsets, a few interesting results. What would your pick be? If you could pick a moment that's kind of defined the football so far, what would that be?
Oh, it's very difficult to pick one. There's obviously we're getting to a stage of the tournament where we're seeing teams going out of the competition, a little bit of jeopardy towards the end. I've been very impressed with certain teams. Germany have been very solid throughout. Spain have been very impressive. Portugal, they've looked very clinical so far. So I think there's been some really good performances. I mean, one of my dark horses before the competition was Hungary, and I thought that was going to look really dodgy, but then they managed to scrape through last night against Scotland. So England not playing very well so far, that's another story. And my pre-tournament picks, France, they're looking quite strong as well. So there's lots of stories, lots of good young players emerging in the tournament as well. So I think there's stories everywhere.
Yes, and you've sort of highlighted a few things that I really want to pick your brains for, but we'll start off with Germany because that's the first team you mentioned, and they're through as well to the next round. Are they set to break the jinx of the host country and no Euros title?
Well, they could be. When I was looking at the competition before the tournament, I had them down as my third choice. So that puts them in with a good chance from my point of view. I think that home advantage is something obviously that in all the past World Cups and European Championships that there is definitely an advantage to be playing in front of your home crowd. They've been relatively straightforward in the group stage so far. Of course, they scored a late equaliser, but they were already through in their group anyway. So I think that Germany are looking very strong. They've got some good players. Yeah. Musiala is probably one of my favourite, three players in the tournament. I think he's an outstanding player, and I expected him to be one of the best players in this tournament. He started off well. So yeah, Germany have got a good chance.
All right, and we'll have to sort of touch base with a few of the teams before we get into England, and that's going to be interesting as well. But I have to speak about Ronaldo. How can we speak about Euros and not mention him? Portugal, Ronaldo, is that a very uncomfortable relationship at this point? What's your take on this?
No, I mean, the problem is with somebody as famous, as big a name as Ronaldo, with, of course, where his career has taken to him and now playing in Saudi, a league that maybe some people don't give much credibility to, there's obviously going to be just opinion no matter what from everybody. Everybody knows Cristiano Ronaldo. Everybody has to have an opinion on him. But I can say quite confidently, if I was the manager of Portugal and I was in the European Championships final tomorrow and I was thinking, right, what shall we do? I mean, I would have to play him. I would have to put him. He would be one of my first names on the team sheet. He still scores an incredible amount of goals. He still sends shivers down the spine of anybody that's about to play against him. He still rises to the big occasion. There's nobody better, really, on big occasions. He scores big goals. And you would expect him to, to score those goals in a huge encounter. So as much as You know, some people think, oh, he's too old, he's too this, he's too slow, or whatever they think nowadays. He's still an incredible player that given a chance, you know, I would still, you know, have my money on him to score a goal. Penalties as well. You know, penalties will definitely come into this competition, whether it's, you know, a shootout at the end or whether it's just taking penalties during normal time. They're a huge thing in football nowadays, having a very, very good penalty taker. So, and he's definitely one of the world's best. So, yes, people will always question and criticise, but I still think on the biggest occasion, I'd be wanting him on my side, not against me.
Same goes to someone like a Kylian Mbappe for sure, the star player for France. But my question to you, Michael, is there a sense of over-reliance on someone like him, and does France have enough firepower in that goal-scoring area without him? Though, I mean, of course, he's going to come back and get in the games. But your thoughts on this?
Yeah, no, I think it's a good question. I mean, Kylian Mbappe, or France without Kylian Mbappe, don't get the results that they do with him. In my opinion, probably the most destructive player on the planet at the moment, probably the best player in the world at the moment. The good thing for France is obviously, you know, they've had positive results. They're going to be through into the knockout stage. They can give him all the time he needs to try to recover. I've no doubt that he'll come back with a mask on and played in the tournament. But so France with Mbappe, I mean, he scored a hat-trick in the last World Cup final they played, and he's, you know, he's the best player on the planet. He's so destructive. He's so fast. He's so skillful. He scores plenty of goals. I mean, France in the knockout stages with Mbappe in the team are going to be the team that everybody wants to avoid.
You know, that brings me up to the question on England, and there are going to be quite a few here, and quite obviously. Every big tournament, there's always this question around England. It's persisting here as well, unsurprisingly. What do you reckon? And they've had a bit of a mixed start to the tournament. What do you reckon are the issues that a team like England is dealing with, if any?
Well, no, there's plenty of issues.
Just being polite.
Oh, it depends where we start. Right, on the playing point of view, we're obviously not played well in the first couple of games, but we are a team that has played well in recent times. Obviously, the last two competitions, we got to the final of the European Championships and then the semi-final of the World Cup. So we're a team that is doing okay, doing quite well in major tournaments in recent times. We're struggling a little bit with the balance of our team. Gareth Southgate is adamant that we always need to play with two holding midfield players, two number sixes. That, for me, is where the problems start. I would love to just play with one, like most great teams do. You look in the Premier League, you look at Liverpool, you look at Manchester City, you look at, you know, so many teams, Arsenal. Most teams play with one central midfield. I don't think we need anybody more than Declan Rice in there. And then we can get extra players, extra attacking players in the team. The likes of Cole Palmer should be playing, and of course Bellingham, of course Foden. We've got Saka or Anthony Gordon. There's so much attacking talent, and I think our strength lies with attack in our team. So I'm not surprised because he's always done this, Gareth Southgate. But it's frustrating that we don't get our best players in the team because of an over-reliance on a negative position. So on the pitch, I think that's a problem. I do think he will change the team slightly, but I'm not sure he will change the formation. So it's probably not going to help too much, although fresh face may change things a little bit.
You know, Harry Kane...
In terms of the rest of it, we obviously England have a problem all the time with the pressure. We've got, you know, we've got pundits, we've got the press, we've got the whole world that think we should win every tournament that we enter. It's not quite as easy as that. So the players have to manage all that as well as trying to put in a good performance on the pitch. So lots of hurdles for England to overcome, but we'll see how we get on.
You know, Harry Kane recently gave a statement as well, Michael, that, you know, everyone talks about the pressure on the England team. Everyone says, you know, why aren't you doing it this time? But this has happened time and time and again. It's not just with us. Do you agree that it's not just something that's, I mean, of course, different kind of issues, but there's something that's persisted over years with various England sides?
Yeah, of course we haven't won a major tournament for 50 odd years, or just under 50 years, I think. But not many teams have.
Yeah.
You know, we're not, a Barcelona, we're not a Liverpool or a Manchester United, where you can be playing for 5, 6 trophies a year. I mean, you can have 2 domestic cups, you can then have European football. If you've won something the last year, you'll be in the World Club Cup, you'll be in the Super Cup, you'll then have your league. You can be playing for 5, 6, 7 trophies every single year. You only win one of them, and everyone says, "Oh, what a fantastic season! Fantastic, that's brilliant." But this is international football. You play one European Championship every 4 years. One. In that time, a team like Liverpool or Manchester City could have been playing 30 competitions, and only need to win 1 or 2 to fulfil all expectations. 1 World Cup, 1 European Championships every 4 years. It's hardly anything.
Yeah.
So we don't have this divine, right? No nation does. I look back into my time and I think how good Spain were at that time. Multiple, tournament winning champions. They won the Europeans, they won the World Cups. I look at when we had this golden generation that people talk about, and of course we were an exceptional team.
Yeah.
But I hand you Brazil in 2002 as well. And can anybody tell me that, that we deserved it more than Brazil? I mean, they had Roberto Carlos, they had Cafu. They were the 2 wing backs, probably the best 2 wing backs ever to have set foot on this planet. 3 of their attacking players, Ronaldinho, Rivaldo, and Ronaldo, were their 3 strikers against us that day. I mean, 3 of the greatest strikers we've ever seen, ever. Not just like in this generation, ever. And people think, oh yeah, England wasted it. It's like, no, there are other good teams, and you don't get many opportunities to win. So, as I say, we've got to a semi-final and a final in the last 2 major tournaments. Yeah. For a small, island that only has 60, 70 million people, we don't do bad at football. And we will win a competition, hopefully sooner rather than later. But what I'm saying is we don't have a divine right to go and win every competition that we play in. And when we don't win a competition, everybody thinks, oh, England have thrown it away again. I mean, there's some good teams. France are a better team than England, I think. France are, where the pressure should be on. They're a brilliant team at the moment. If England win it, it'll be a nice surprise. But we do put an awful lot of pressure on our players, more so than probably any other nation in the world.
That's true. I mean, you kind of answered the next question I was going to. Pressure always tells, and pressure is always immense in England. I know we're running out of time, so just very few quick predictions from you. Have to put you on the hot seat here. Your predictions, your 4 semi-finalists first up, and then we'll quickly go to a couple more.
I'll go for I think France are my pre-tournament picks. I think Germany, being the host country, are a good team as well. I think they'll qualify. I've got to go for England. And then I think it's probably a toss-up between Portugal and Spain, but I'll go for Portugal. Nice.
I like that brave last choice. And your one pick to go all the way, I'm guessing it's...
My head says France. My heart says England, of course, but my head says France, especially if Kylian Mbappe comes back. He is such a good player, and France are so good. Defensively, they're good. I think they're just strong everywhere. They've got recent form. I think France are the team to beat.
Last one, just if you could pick a couple of players, maybe one of the youngsters and one superstar who's going to leave their impact on this Euros.
Musiala for Germany, I think, is probably one of my favourite players right now for the host nation. I think he could really do well. He's obviously had some great years for Bayern Munich. He was very good in the last tournament, even though Germany didn't do so well. But he's an exceptional talent. I think he could be one of the stars of the show. I'd like to think one of the England players, someone like Phil Foden or Jude Bellingham could be the stars of the show. Yamal at Spain is a young player that I love watching. So many great players. And what about Cristiano Ronaldo? Everybody criticises him, but he still could pop up. You wouldn't be surprised if he pops up and scores the winner in the final, would you?
I love it. Love your picks there. And some predictable ones, but some racy ones too. Thank you so much, Michael Owen, for joining in. And looking forward to a very, very good second half of yours.
My pleasure.
Time for Last Serve. Like the world is coming over to gather at different cities in Germany, in the hope of catching the stars in action like Ronaldo. There are plenty coming over to catch the Messi magic at the Copa America as well. Take a look at a packed, vibrant Times Square trying to drum up the magic for Copa America. Sport fans in America are surely busy. It was cricket first and now, of course, football taking over. That wraps it up here at First Sports. I'll, of course, see you again tomorrow, same time. Till then, take care.